and welcome to This is Australia. We will take you on a tour and we're going to bring you great stories from everyday life in Australia. Now, this country is big, is very big. And of course, everything is big here. For example, we have big trains and we have big trucks. And our farming, it's very, very big. Big tractors, big plows for plowing, seeding, and harvesting. But the main thing is that we have big hearts. One of our regular stories is about made in Australia products. We still manufacture great products here in Australia, and we're going to put our support behind those manufacturers here in Australia. Our first story is about caravans, and Tony Toomey is going to tell us all about it. Let's have a look.
Hi, I'm Tony Toomey and welcome to My Australia. Now for me, Australia is all about the outdoor lifestyles and the machines that we get to play in that environment. Now this segment is going to be covering all kinds of stuff, 2 wheels, 4 wheels, planes, helicopters, and we're even going to touch on the mining industry and what mining is doing for Australia as a whole. But today guys, we've got something very exciting to bring to you, and that is something that's synonymous with every child growing up in Australia, and that is the camping and caravanning lifestyle. The product we're going to be looking at today is Australian made and owned and very well reputed, and that is the Jayco Caravan.
Sorry Tony, but it seems like we have some really bad news here as far as one of our great made in Australia product is concerned, and this is about Rossi Boots. And the news that I have here at the moment, I'll just read it to you. It's about Rossi Boots. You can see the video that we had to show you in a future episode. But basically, Rossi Boots is an Australian product, and the company is owned by the Rossi family, who established a business in South Australia in 1910. Rossi Boots supplied boots to soldiers in both world wars, and it's one of the last remaining Australian boot makers. But Rossi Boots has been rejected for a Defence Department contract, and instead our Australian soldiers will wear boots made in Indonesia. The contract to manufacture about 100,000 pairs of boots worth up to 15 million over 5 years would have secured the company's future. Now, here we are trying to support these great Australian products, or what's left of them. And someone has made a decision for one of these companies that they're very important for our country. We're going to make some inquiries and we're going to find out, and we're going to let you know in the next episode what really happened and who made that decision for this great Australian company not to get this contract and instead to get the Indonesian boots. But remember, what we can do to help these manufacturers like Rossi Boots is every time that we go shopping, every time we have a chance, every time that we need a pair of boots, just look for Rossi Boots. Look for the Australian made products. We have many great Australian products. You can visit some of the websites like buyaustralianmade.com.au or australianmade.com.au. Now those sites, they have a lot of Australian made products, and they have the little sign, for example, the little kangaroo on the little green triangle. Whenever you look for any products, try to buy Australian made. Now you might ask me, why am I here? Why am I presenting this program from this old house? Well, we want to just buy the house so we can restore it, but with a difference. We will have a look and see if we can use recycled materials, reusable materials, instead of buying new. And also, whatever we take out of the house, instead of just scrapping them and destroying them and putting them in a bin, we're going to try to reuse them again, either here or another project, or even give them away for free or sell them. It doesn't look too good. What happens on the outside? The house has been cladded with asbestos fiber cement, which is quite expensive to remove. But I'm afraid that the internal walls as you can see down here, it looks like that it is also asbestos. You can see this kind of look there of the fibre. That's a sign that it is asbestos. There is asbestos inside. You can see this is broken, and you can see in the actual fibre itself, you can see the little fibres, which is the asbestos. We're going to bring you a story, and we're going to explain what is asbestos and what we should be careful when we deal with asbestos. It's not the end of the world. Everything is easy as long as you know what to do. But we do that on another story. As far as the house is concerned, we have another look, but it doesn't look too good at this stage. Now, let's go to our next story. Our next story is about solutions. In Australia and in every country, we do have problems. Every day we have a problem. And here in Australia, we are very good in finding solutions for our problems. We are solutioneers. Every one of us, every day we'll have to find a solution for something. And we're going to bring you a story of how we find solutions in every program from now on. But while I'm doing the inspection of the house, let's Anna Sebo tell us a story about reuse.
Every year, New South Wales alone throws away some 2 million tonnes of waste, and that number would be exponentially higher were it not for some ingenious Aussie solutioneering, like recycled timbers from the area of a great Australian engineering marvel, the Warragamba Dam. Normally, discarded electricity poles end up at the closest tip, but Solutioneers from recycled timbers in Sydney and Kennedy timbers in Melbourne and Brisbane are breathing new life into these beautiful hardwoods by using specialised equipment to clean and slice. Design and creativity then take over and transform these everyday eyesores into gorgeous pieces such as this amazing table, furnishings for home and business, and even windows and doors made from recycled hardwood. And a true Solutioneer leaves nothing to waste, with all the byproducts being turned into beautifully shabby decorative timbers, mulch and firewood. So ingenious solutioneering such as that could mean that beautiful beach boardwalks such as this one could be made from discarded telegraph posts instead of forest timbers, and they'd actually last twice as long. And timber solutioneering doesn't end there, with demolition timbers normally pushed to the wayside to rot, being reborn into inviting tables like these ones used in the Annandale pub and many cafes and restaurants around Sydney. Stay tuned for the full story on an upcoming episode where I promise you will gasp at the result. In the meantime, if you have a solution to reuse and revive, let us know by contacting us on the below.
Well, there are a lot of problems in this house. I don't really know if it's worth it, but the major problem is that half of the house, it can be used for a slippery dip. If we build a swimming pool in here, we can go straight into the swimming pool from inside the house. It seems like that the house is leaning, half the house is leaning this way. So the problem is this, the piers. The piers are sinking. And you know why they're sinking? Because the gutters are gone. All the water from the front, you can see it all along here. It goes underneath the house and to the front of the house. And of course, it has sunk the piers. Now, we're the Solutioneers. We can fix everything. And this is nothing. Oh, I better move. Let's have a look at our next story. And the next story is about play. And of course, we have our next Solutioneer. His name is Kurt Braun, and he's going to tell us all about boats and boating. Let's have a look at it. But before that, I just want to check on this tree here. I'm pretty sure, and I'm right, that this is a lemon tree. I love lemon trees. So we buy the house, and then we find the solutions how we're going to fix it. But let's have a look at the story with Kurt.
Hi, I'm Kurt, and welcome to our new show. I'm here today to talk to you about the benefits of boat ownership in Australia. In particular, the various options available to you should you want to get involved in this wonderful outdoor activity. I've been on boats for many years. My father was a boat builder, and having spent so many years in and around boats, I have a lot of experience that I could share with anyone wanting to get involved in this sport. So, if you're thinking of getting out on the water and wanting to enjoy the amazing waterways in and around Sydney and Australia by having participation in a boat syndication, if you're fortunate enough maybe to buy your own boat, or even if you have a boat already, I have no doubt the topics we're going to cover in this show will be of great benefit to you. The topics we're going to cover in this show will range from the most basic, essential boat maintenance right through to fully blown restorations, including this authentic Chinese junk I'm standing on right now that we've rescued from the bottom of Sydney Harbour and we're in the process of restoring. It's going to be a wonderful experience to share with us. As an example, we're going to explain the benefits of having a solar power system on your boat. It's one of the most basic and cost-effective means of ensuring your batteries always have full charge. Not just that, but keeping those bilge pumps running all the time, 24/7, just in case there's a big storm, the rain's coming down, you can't get to your boat, you need to have the backup power. We're going to show you how to set up your own solar system, including where to access the panels, the size of the panel you need, and the other equipment required to make the system work flawlessly. So that when you're sleeping at home in bed at night, the last thing you need to worry about is your boat sinking. This vessel is a Chinese junk known as the Swan, originally imported from Hong Kong about 30 years ago. She's a timber boat, and timber boats generally require a fair bit more maintenance than a fiberglass, steel or aluminium vessel, purely because timber, being a natural substance, will expand and contract with the different weather situations. She suffered the worst blow when she sunk during a storm in Sydney Harbour. And for the purpose of this show, we've decided to take on board the restoration and salvage so we could show the practical implication of all of the things we're going to show you during these shows. Whether you're wanting to find out how to install your own solar system at a very, very reasonable cost on your boat, or look at more complicated jobs, such as building this custom shower recess for our newly renovated bathroom, we intend to show you all the tips and tricks the professionals use to make this process as simple as possible. Also, we're going to show you how to get out in the water by explaining in detail the benefits of fractional boat ownership through recognised boat syndication programs. This way you can enjoy all the benefits of being a boat owner without breaking the camel's back. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next episode.
The area where we are, where the house is that we are going to buy at the end, it's called Kalga. It's about 15 kilometers from Hornsby, north of Sydney. Now, this area here is very close to the freeway, and it's a great area. And it looks like there's another 2 or 3 properties here for sale, including this one here. This used to be the old service station. Now, I'm just thinking that this could actually be a great place to open a coffee shop, because it's right on the old Pacific Highway. And one thing that we have to look at is the Monorail Cafe that we always wanted to open. And this place, it could be great for it. Now, the monorail, another solution to another problem. The monorail was demolished. For whatever reason, it was demolished. Now, it happens that we found out about it, and we saved the carriages and a lot of the memorabilia from going to scrap. Imagine the icon of Sydney, the monorail, going to scrap. We couldn't let that happen, could we? Anyway, so we managed to find a solution for the monorail. And we have a lot of great stories to bring you of what happened to the monorail carriages. A lot of these carriages were salvaged. They were saved, and they now in different places in Australia and overseas. We're going to follow the stories, and we're going to tell you where each one is. But for now, we have all this amazing memorabilia from the monorail, and we want to open a Monorail Cafe. Yes, we have 3 carriages from the Sydney monorail. Now, there is a story behind the monorail. Of course, it had to be demolished. For whatever reasons, we don't know. Maybe we'll look at another episode. But for now, it happens that the monorail was in our hands and it was going to be scrapped. But thanks to Sydney Morning Herald, Channel 10, the guys from Channel 10, they were amazing, Channel 10 News, Channel 7 News, TUE, all these people that they supported us, and we found homes for all the carriages for the Sydney monorail, except for 3. 1, 2, 3. No, we kept 3 of them because they're going to go to the Monorail Cafe and Museum. And these are the 3 carriages. Now, we're going to put them there on display, but it's not just the carriages that we have. We have a lot of other stuff that we kept when the monorail was demolished. Let's go and have a look. Now, before we go any further, let's take a look at this. This is an amazing system. This was made in Switzerland, like a Swiss clock. These things here, they could go for another 100 years, no problem. And apparently they were refurbished for about $5 million by the New South Wales government before they were demolished. But this is actually how the state-of-the-art machine, it was moving up on their truck, on the monorail. Look at this, truck tires. Can you believe it? Look at that. Yes, this was on the top of the monorail, and this was underneath holding it together, and now was holding it to the sides. Amazing. Truck tires. Can you believe it? It's true. Let's have a look now at the next piece of our memorabilia that we have in our collection. These are actually some service cards from the monorail service station. But this is an amazing piece. Now, this was the actual control to open the bridge at Pyrmont for the monorail. Basically all these buttons here, as you can see, there's a lot of dust in here, but it was actually the equipment that was handling that monorail to open over the Pyrmont Bridge. Piece of history, that's for sure. But let's have a look at our next story. Our next story, again, it's just a regular subject, and it's about makeovers. Makeovers about houses, like the house that we just bought. Makeovers about cars. Here in Australia, we're very good in just keeping our heritage. And I'm very proud to be Australian because we are very good at it. Either houses or cars, maybe trains, boats, anything you could imagine. So this story is about makeover, it's about cars. Let's have a look at the first story, which is about the first four-wheel drive ever made.
I'm here today reporting from an automotive mechanical workshop. Why am I here? Well, I'm here to tell you a story about a legend. And remember, this is a true story. During World War II, the US Army realised the need for a rugged, reliable off-road vehicle, and they contracted 3 car builders to design it. The legend called Jeep was born. The Allies nicknamed the Jeep the Iron Horse, which helps them win World War II. In many countries, it was known as a symbol of peace because it was the first vehicle to enter the city freed by the Allies. After the Second World War, Jeeps were used extensively by farmers. So even today's Jeep has the capacity to pull the plough, as you can see in this video. In many countries around the world, an off-road vehicle is called a Jeep. All-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, and off-road vehicles are all called Jeeps. We asked a Greek and an Italian what they called an off-road vehicle in their country, and this is what they said.
In my country, in Italy, all the off-road we call Jeep.
What do you call this car you're driving now?
In Greece, every off-road vehicle, we call it a Jeep. It's a Jeep.
But it's a Mitsubishi, it's not a Jeep.
Listen, it might be a Mitsubishi. The brand is a Mitsubishi, but it's an off-road car. I know my car, okay? It's a Jeep.
The number of Jeeps sold up to the present day is 15 million, and almost 4.5 million of those were the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the luxury model. But what do people think of the Jeep today? Well, we asked one of the mechanics here at Universal Motors what he thinks.
With these old Jeeps, Cherokees, they have a bit of a bad name in the whole community because they are problem cars. They have a lot of problems with some of the old engines. They cost a lot of money. Sometimes they can cost more money than the car is actually worth when they go old.
They don't sound very impressed with the legend. Well, we decided to do some research on the internet and we found some amazing comparisons. Wow, these monsters called Jeeps look unbeatable. And these Japanese imitations look like toys compared to a Jeep when it comes to off-road conditions. So this is why we're here. We bought a Jeep. But this Grand Cherokee Jeep had to be towed to the mechanic because the engine was blown. Harry will tell us a bit more about this.
What an amazing piece of equipment. I'm sure that this is made in Australia a very, very long time ago. Look at it, it's made out of hardwood and it still works. And basically it's a jack, a mechanical jack, and it can lift 7.5 tons. Now, things like that are going to be part of the shop that we want to open up, which is about the monorail and also about other beautiful Australian old wares. So, if you're interested, get in touch with us and we'll be able to work something out with this amazing idea about the shopping here in Calgary. But I'm afraid this is the end of our first episode. Now remember, if you're a solutioneer, if you're finding solutions to problems, get in touch with us on the number that you see on your screen or the email, and we'll cover the story. But the most important thing you have to remember is to support our own Australian products. It's very important for our own manufacturers, the people that they employ. We're going to be bringing stories every week about these amazing products. So, this is the end of our program. See you next week. Thank you for watching.